great pleasure to be here with you for this brief news conference. I wanted to point out the fact that we have a bunch of teachers and public employees here who have taken their time away from their busy schedules to join us for the 2023 version of North Dakota United Lobby Day. And it's great to have everybody back with us live. As you know, because of COVID, the last couple of sessions, it's been very difficult indeed to get people together. This is just really a terrific event. I'm going to begin by letting some of you know what North Dakota United is. North Dakota United is a relatively new organization. It's only 10 years old, but it has very deep roots in the state of North Dakota. North Dakota United is the merged union of professional public employees that began with North Dakota Education Association, which has existed since before statehood, as well as the North Dakota Public Employees Association. And so 10 years ago, this coming October, we merged into a single organization, and we could not be more proud of our members and the great work that they do on behalf of the citizens of North Dakota. With that said, I just want to talk to you today about a few issues, and in fact, I don't want to do all the talking. We brought some experts on these issues. So joining me at the podium today will be Shawna Knipp. She's a teacher at Dickinson Middle School. Dana Henry, who happens to be a compliance officer with our state tax department. By the way, tax day is coming up. And Monica Klein, who in addition to being the mother of a very beautiful young lady, is a teacher at Fort Lincoln Elementary School in Mandan. So what I would like to do is have Shawna Knipp come up and talk to you a little bit about an issue that we're tracking very closely at the legislature, and that happens to be vouchers. So, Shawna.
I first want to just say thank you for letting me have this opportunity to speak. Like Nick said, my name is Shawna Knipp, and I am from Dickinson, North Dakota. I have been a teacher for the past 20 years. 8 of those years have been in the general education setting, 10 years in special education, and these past 2 years I have been a process facilitator writing IEPs and 504 plans for students. I come asking people to understand and vote no for House Bill 1532. I have 2 lenses for this bill. One, as a public education teacher and wanting to see the funding go to public education. And then also as a parent of a student that was placed, that we chose to put into private education, hoping that she would receive that smaller class size, personalized education, especially since she was a child that often gets dysregulated because of emotional and behavioral disabilities that she does have. One thing that we came to find out about private schooling is that they do not have to accept all students like public education does. Shortly into our stay with private education, we were informed that she did not fit nicely into their little box. She did not follow the code of conduct that they expect of their students. They did not want to help her when she was dysregulated. They didn't know what to do when she became dysregulated. Therefore, they did not want to keep her in their school any longer. So then what? What do we do with her when we're halfway into a school year and moving her to another school would disrupt her even more? That's what we faced. For that reason, I truly feel that having a voucher system for private education is not something that North Dakota should have. Private education is not held to the same standards as public education. Our tax dollars should not be funding private education. Private education does not have to take those students that have disabilities, dysregulate, and have behavioral issues. They do not have to keep students that have IEPs or 504s. Public education is success for all. We take all students where they're at, no matter what they've been through, what trauma they've had, and we educate them, and we truly strive for success for all, no matter what. Therefore, I truly hope that North Dakota sees that this bill is not for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawna, and thank you for sharing that story with us all. By the way, after we've wrapped up this conference, they'll be available for questions if you'd like to ask some more. Another issue beyond what we're tracking on school vouchers is we're also talking about public employee pensions. Since 2011, the defined benefit pension plan that is administered by PERS has been under constant attack, and it's come to a head now. And so there are bills, competing bills out there dealing with the defined benefit pension plan. And so to talk about that, we have Dana Henry, who happens to be a compliance officer with the state tax department. Dana.
Thank you, Nick. Good afternoon. Like he said, my name is Dana Henry, and I am a compliance officer in the State Tax Commissioner's office up on the 16th floor and also a voter in District 7. I'm here today to advocate as a millennial for our state pension plan. I am the daughter of 2 high school educators in Southern Oregon, and I grew up in a very middle-class family. And I can distinctly remember that month of September eating a lot of peanut butter and jellies, waiting for that very first paycheck of the year on October 1. My parents selected a career path in which they served, educated, and grew many generations of young people, sacrificing a smaller salary in order to have that guaranteed pension at the time of retirement. My parents were able to retire and currently live on their pensions from the state of Oregon through their PERS. I graduated from college the very same year my dad decided to retire from teaching. And I have a unique perspective, being an older millennial, in that I graduated at the start of the recession, right as I entered the professional workforce, while also watching my family exit the workforce as the market crashed and flipped upside down. I saw 90% of my life savings disappear in 3 months. As I attempted to invest in my first IRA, I saw parents of fellow classmates lose more than 6 figures in their 401ks, which meant they could not retire and they had to stay in the workforce longer than anticipated. But then I also got to see my father, who was able to retire with dignity and security on his own terms, knowing that when he walked out of the classroom for the very last time, that his pension was guaranteed for life. My husband and I are both North Dakota transplants. We moved here sight unseen 3 years ago, right at the start of the pandemic, and it was because of the pension and the benefits offered by the state that we decided to move here. We have no family here, and we have no ties to the area. This benefits package, in my opinion, is one of the best recruiting and retention tools that the state has to offer. And it's one of the great talent pieces that we have to bring talented and qualified individuals to serve the citizens of this great state. House Bill 1040 currently seeks to close the pension plan to new hires and open a defined contribution plan. It has an actuarial cost of $5.5 billion over the course of the next 20.5 years, but does not bind any future requirements for the next 5 legislatures to continue to fund any part of the unfunded liability. There's no guarantee that the future legislators are going to continue to fund that, and it is exactly my pension payout in the next 30 years that is at risk with this plan. However, Senate Bill 2239 aims to invest in our current pension plan and to preserve this benefit for less than $1 billion, which is just 18% of the cost of the House Bill plan, placing it on a trajectory to be fully funded in 30 years. This is the more fiscally responsible plan and the better choice for employees now and in the future. As the experts continually say, pensions are the most efficient use of taxpayer dollars. Let's listen to them and pass Senate Bill 2239.
Thank you very, very much, Dana. That was a fantastic recitation of the facts, something that we're not getting an awful lot of. And finally, among our guests is Monica Klein, a teacher at Fort Lincoln Elementary School in Mandan. She would like to talk to you about a pressing issue, not just here, but across the state, and that, of course, is the issue of child care.
Hello. During my student teaching, one of my supervising teachers told me, remember that you are teaching and taking care of somebody's everything. This continues to stick with me even during my 15th year of teaching. However, I don't feel that I wholeheartedly understood this until I became a mother myself. I have been lucky enough to find amazing, consistent daycare providers for both of my children, but I know I have not had the typical experience for the area, and that is upsetting. Families should be going to work knowing that their everything has consistent professionals who are caring individuals who can connect with children. They should be fairly compensated and provided training to do their job well. We will never fix this problem as long as our child care providers make $11 an hour. An annual investment by our state will allow this without having to put more burden on facilities and families. An annual investment by our state will allow this without having to, I am so sorry about that. Investing in early childhood will also allow us to have a greater proactive versus reactive approach in many areas of academic and social emotional learning as the brain develops the fastest and the largest amount from birth to age 5. That's why we are urging a yes vote on Senate Bill 2301. Our children, our everything, are worth it.
All right, I want to thank all three of our experts, the people that are actually working in their fields and understanding the issues the best, for sharing these. It's not easy for them to do that. I also want to make it very clear that Dana took a day of leave. She's not just down here skipping work, okay? So there's that. So with that, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you may have either for myself or for our three experts.
So ideally, they would pass the Senate bill, not the House bill. Or ideally, they wouldn't pass either bill. What's the ideal situation?
I think the ideal situation, Joel, is that they would pass the Senate bill that was authored by Senators Cleary and Dever. That plan differs from the House bill, which just seeks to kill it, in that it puts the plan, the defined benefit plan, on a trajectory towards being fully funded. And that is the ultimate goal. This is something, incidentally, that they could have done in 2011, 2013, 2015, 17, 19, and last session, but they just refused to do it for ideological reasons. So now here we are. Something's going to be done. I think the responsible thing, the most fiscally responsible thing, is to pass the Senate version and put this thing on a trajectory to being fully funded and continue to have this wonderful recruitment and retention tool so that the citizens of North Dakota can continue to be served by the very best public servants that they can. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd be happy to. All of you probably want to go to the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. Sure.
So vouchers. No vouchers. They have, or the lack thereof. So regarding vouchers, North Dakota United has sort of defended against voucher bills in the past. Do you feel like you have the capacity to do so in this session?
Yeah, the voucher bills is something that we have seen happen session after session. In fact, in the last 4 sessions of the legislature, I think we've successfully beaten back 7 attempts to put vouchers in our statutes. Whether or not I think we have the votes to do it this time, I think we do. In fact, if people take a very good long look at this, at the proposed legislation, because in this legislation there aren't any requirements for accountability. When the legislature gives money to public school systems, there is a locally elected school board that is responsible for every single dime that comes into that district. And if that money is found to be misspent or somehow diverted for purposes it wasn't intended, there are real consequences for that. That is not the same thing when money goes from the state of North Dakota to a private or parochial school. Once it's gone, there's no more oversight. So I think that we have, at least they claim to be conservative, fiscal conservatives. I think once they understand that particular provision of the bill, they will turn their back on it.
The Constitution mandates a public education system, and if you have vouchers, it's akin to giving a gift, which is probably in the Constitution. Can you make that argument?
Yeah, that point about the constitutionality has come up again and again, particularly in light of the Espinoza v. Montana decision, as well as a recent Supreme Court decision dealing with education in Maine. We're not so sure that those decisions prohibit North Dakota from, frankly, carrying out what's written in their Constitution, and that is providing for a system of public education while denying public monies to private entities to do private education. So I think that there's still a lot to be said about that particular interpretation, and we may have to find out.
I don't know whether you have to answer this or not. But if the voucher bill does pass, would North Dakota United seek litigation, sort of helping overturn it in the courts, or?
I will tell you this: we will take a look at, as you know, there's a great deal that can happen to a bill between the time that it's introduced and the time it makes it out of the sausage maker, if you will. And so we would have to take a look and see what the end result of that would be before we'd make any sort of a determination about that. Okay. Great. Thanks.